So, Woman of the Hour, aka Anna Kendrick, needs to direct more things. I also feel like there should be an asterisk next to this. Like, I'm going to go forward and praise the film, but I also recognize I'm not necessarily the key demographic or the POV point for this film. I can touch base and talk about the horror from a woman's perspective, but the fact is, I'm not a woman, and I don't identify as one. The fact of the matter is that I've never been scared leaving the gym at 2 o'clock in the morning. I've never clutched my keys in the parking lot. I've never been in fear of rejecting someone and then maybe they would harm me. I've never been in that situation. Now, all that said, up front and foremost, this film is mostly scary to see from a woman's point of view, the nightmare scenarios that can happen, the on-set misogyny, and I'm not just talking during the game show, but in life, at the bar, the guy that's creepy that hangs on too long, the guy that tries to kiss you without invitation or thinks that he's being cute or romantic, the stuff that an entire generation of men were conditioned that it's okay to kiss her if she's not expecting it because it's romantic. And seeing all that disgustingness from someone else's perspective, it's glaring. Which, by the way, gentlemen, if you're watching this right now and you like someone, I'm going to tell you a little secret here. Don't you ever kiss a woman if she's not expecting it or thinking that's going to go well. Don't be stupid. Also, if a woman says no, she's not being cute, she's not trying to get you to keep pursuing her, stop fucking pursuing her. Now back to the movie. So, this film also has a habit of showing, and again, that's not a bad thing, of showing men getting too close, lingering too long, almost inside your personal bubble, making you feel unsafe or icky on some degree on the inside. In the movie The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, the villain says something very interesting. He says, that I can't say it as well. Say the quote.
It's hard to believe that fear of offending can be stronger than the fear of pain, but you know what? It is.
Now, what I'm about to say goes to anyone watching this. Not just ladies, but people in general. If someone is making you feel uncomfortable, at some point, you get to stop being polite. Stop being nice. Stop having a meek voice, Raise your voice. Get angry. Draw people's attention. If someone is making you feel uncomfortable, do not be polite about it. That shit goes out the window the second that they violate you when you say no, it's over. Anything after that, fucking go for it. Now, all this said, I feel like this film really doesn't have a particular lead, but more like 3 to 4 different perspectives of the same story. Main one that we're presented is obviously Anna Kendrick's when she's playing Cheryl. She's a young aspiring actress in Hollywood, refuses to do certain things, which props to her. I feel like there's a bit of a mirror there with Anna Kendrick as far as like she's not willing to do a bikini photo shoot or topless or a sex scene, which fair enough, I'm not disparaging that. But point being is there's a bit of a mirror there between the person that she is acting as and the actual Anna Kendrick in, those hard lines of what she's not willing to do. Now, in addition to all this, we see from her perspective as she goes on a dating game show to try and get seen. It gets arranged by her agent. On this dating show, she happens to meet the worst dating show contestant, maybe of all time. She gets to know our resident bastard and villain of the film, Rodney. It's also, I get the unfortunate feeling that Anna may have experienced some of the sexism and misogyny that happens in this film. The whole, again, guys being too close, lingering, being all mad or flustered whenever you reject them instead of taking it like, oh, okay, I understand. Well, it was a pleasure to meet you. Maybe we can meet sometime in the future. Bye. You would hope that that's how most of those interactions go, but as it turns out, no. Not a spoiler. Well, not a spoiler. There's one point in the film, very late, I think it's the last 15 minutes, where she rejects Rodney, right? Saying, oh, I don't feel like going or whatever. And then she gives him a fake number. He tests her, and then she's walking to her car, and he runs at her while she's in her car. The only reason she gets away is because there happened to be some people leaving the studio at that time. If not for that, she may have been killed. And it is frightening to think about how many women may have experienced that. We also see the perspective of a young lady by the name of Laura, whose friend was, as she believed, and is rightfully so, was killed by Rodney in Florida, but he fled. Now, she did give his description to the police, but also he gave a fake name. When she tries to talk to someone that has to work on the game show to let them know, hey, that dude is wanted and he's a murderer, the fucking security guard writes her off. And the cops in LA, I believe, write her off. She tries to file a report for this murder and no one's listening. And that is maddeningly frustrating, maddeningly frustrating at the fact that we have these constant warnings, constant, hey, this guy's dangerous, and nothing is being done about it. And ideally, you would hope we'd get better. I don't think we have. I don't know. I feel like there are still improvements to be made. Speaking of improvements to be made, let's talk about Amy, I want to say youngest girl of this whole team. I think the first, or one of the very first victims of Rodney that he took out into the desert and assaulted. Here's the thing. He takes her out, he assaults her. She's smart and intelligent, plays it down and says, hey, can you do me a favor and not tell anyone about this? It'd be very embarrassing. She's playing it like they're in a relationship, like she's his girlfriend. She's not screaming, crying, yelling, fighting. She's more being very submissive and understanding and going with him on a lot of things. Until she gets an opening at a diner, gets out, calls the cops, and Rodney is arrested. The fucking maddening part of this is the fact that he was arrested and he made bail, he jumped bail, and fucked all the way off to another city. The fact that this bastard could assault a young woman, get out, flee across the country, no warning whatsoever, there's no one looking for him, and kill more people. It's made very apparent by the end of the film. The fact is that this guy killed he was only in court, they only got him on, I believe, 8 victims. But unfortunately, there may have been as many as 130. Now, we do get a glimpse into this guy's temper. He is played very well by one Mr. Daniel Zavato, who plays him well. To be clear, I'm not going to bash the actor. You did a great job of playing a monster. The guy's just a sick son of a bitch. And you can tell he is one of those guys that very much worries about how people perceive him at work. He wants to be perceived as a nice guy, the funny guy, the cool guy. But the second the cops come and talk to him, all of a sudden the facade is breaking. He wants another victim. Now, to be clear, for its powerful message, this film does deserve to be watched. That said, I take umbrage with one thing. The non-linear storytelling of this film is a problem for me, because jumping so much around back and forth, I'm not going to deny Amy deserved her moment of the life for surviving the first attack. Not to mention the fact that she's actually the one that helped get him in jail. No longer a young woman, no longer a young lady, but now a fully grown woman with her own family. She comes back, testifies, and in the words of the prosecutor, put the nail in the coffin to put him away. Good for her, by the way. But the fact that it's a non-linear story kind of throws me off a little bit. It didn't ruin the whole experience, but it felt like we were time jumping so much. I feel like one linear story following the bastard along with these other women may have worked better. Maybe that's just me. Maybe the opening scene could have been that attack, him hurting that girl and getting arrested, and then, fast forward and we're like, what the fuck? How is he free? And then we find out at the end, oh, he made bail. That's why. Something like that could have worked better, I think, to me. Again, powerful message. Maybe that whole non-linear storytelling, maybe that's just not for me. Let me know what you think in the comments down below if you really did enjoy that whole plot element of the story. But what did you think? And also, why is it the most terrifying film? Because, let's be honest, the monsters are in real life. That said, we'll catch y'all next time. We'll see everyone. Stay safe, by the way. Yeah, stay safe.